most played champion and his strongest champion by a very large margin.
Well, Lee Sin going down, as you mentioned, loulex. LeBlanc, we've seen him performing very well. Overpower played him. Of course, we also saw the match before that one. Twisted Fate also taken away, so actually focusing quite heavily on FNATIC's pick comps that they've been running lately. Jax and the surprise Cedeno has gone out. That does mean that
Elise, Evelynn.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the junglers they may first pick here.
Nidalee is still up. I do think those are some of the considerations. Braum as a champion as well is something that could be considered. The thing is, whatever gets locked in by blue team means two other champions go over to the side of FNATIC. So they could get the likes of Thresh, they could get the likes of Nidalee if they wanted to. But we do know that Yasuo is up as well. It is a counter to Nidalee. So a lot of mind games going on, and Gambit with a very safe first pick.
Cabochard locking in that Lucian for Fury. Fury, of course, has played with Gambit before as well. So we've seen him on this stage before. Moment FNATIC. So two choices. Will they go for the support? Thresh, of course, is available. Morgana's available. Which one will YellOwStaR favor? Often, it has been Morgana.
It is such a difficult pick and ban phase for
Braum
FNATIC.
available as well, don't forget.
Yeah, but because they don't really know what to expect from the rest of Gambit's composition, a safe pick like Elise is probably smart. If you want to go for a support, you know, take the Thresh away to prevent that Lucian Thresh lane. That might also be an option, but then you do give up Braum. Lucian Braum is terrifying. They synergize so incredibly well. And you see FNATIC, they're running the clock down because they don't know what to pick that is like the safe, smart pick, so to speak. And yeah, even last second, swapping it out. So Morgana is the support. YellOwStar's one of his most preferred. He has played a lot of Morgana games, and in the weeks 1 through 3, he was preferring Morgana over every other champion, as he's done again, with Thresh, with Braum both being up.
So let's see how this one is countered. I wonder whether Gambit, whether they're going to go for a solid team comp. They've decided on it. We talked about Nidalee, of course, earlier on, maybe for Nick. It's a champion he's played alongside full roster of Gambit, so possibility for him. Irelia in that top lane. Cabochard, well, sOAZ knows all about that one. Shyvana is available for sOAZ. It's a champion he's worked very well on in the last few weeks.
Yeah, and it's something that would synergize well with a lot of compositions. The Morgana pick is reactive, and it also allows you to set up picks because of the power of that Dark Binding route, which is up to 3 seconds at max range.
I mean, it's the double pick we just talked about that obviously Millennium aim at, and FNATIC do often go similar champions.
They do run very similar style, but what I like about the picks is you can mold them into anything else. You can work those champions into a multitude of compositions, and Morgana's always going to provide peel and protection for your AD carry.
Wow.
So, quite smart. That is a very, very fast lock-in. FNATIC now deciding they've got aggression for Corki, they've got an AD top laner, aggression in Aatrox, and when you combine Aatrox and Elise in terms of going forward, you've got a lot of damage already from FNATIC.
Yeah, well, Nidalee was locked in by Nick, no surprises. It is one of his most popular champions. Fury not really going to be picking out that Gangplank or Teemo. But Aatrox, interesting one for sOAZ in that top lane. I don't recall seeing him on it before. I'm sure he probably has, but not for a while.
No, not in recent times. Aatrox was used very effectively in the previous game. But the thing for me is, this composition from FNATIC has already got a fairly well-rounded group of both engage and disengage. You've got long-range CC. You've got a lot of poke. Aatrox, Morgana, and Corki can put a lot of poke and pressure down. Also, Rekkles may be looking to go for a toe-to-toe 2v2 lane because Corki can do very well, can trade evenly with the likes of Lucian.
So, Zyra getting locked in as the support. We haven't seen that one for a while, that's for sure. Used to be, of course, the big flavor during the Season 3 World Championships. Evelynn, of course, he was the obvious jungler to go alongside him. We have seen Jarvan a few times today, but not this time around. Evelynn will be selected for loulex.
So there's a handful of engaged champions with that Elise, Morgana, with Aatrox jumping in, and Zyra's going to offer the disengage, but the one thing that I don't really see working is this Nidalee pick, because Evelynn wants to flank, go in from the sidelines. Irelia wants to dive into the middle of the team, and there's no peel or protection outside of one Grasping Roots and one Stranglethorn. So if Hiiva is not spot on with his ultimates and with his positioning, there's not a lot of protection between FNATIC's team that can run at Gambit and the Nidalee who wants to throw spears or Lucian from the back line. Combine that with the fact that now Ziggs is locked in for xPeke, and he can throw bouncing bombs through, the members of Gambit. I think Gambit have to get ahead in the laning phase because I feel like there's more innate synergy in FNATIC's team composition once they start grouping up, once they start working together.
Not exactly the pick comp we normally expect to see, the double assassinations, obviously with the xPeke going on towards Ziggs. It does, of course, mean that Gambit are going to have a hell of a hard time sieging down a turret if they get that advantage. Of course, they have got the advantage of Nidalee's spears, which we've seen many times working well.
Yeah, on the same token, in order for FNATIC to siege themselves while they have great poke, Corki is an incredibly short-range AD carry, so it's very risky to go under a tower under the Zyra Stranglethorns.
Well, with these particular champions, who do you think has the stronger comp of the two? And who will win this match? Send your tweets to @LOLesports and use the hashtag GAMBWin and hashtag FNCWin, and we'll check out those results shortly. These teams are both ready to go as the match loads up. Well, who do you think comes out best in those pick and ban phase?
I think the laning phase can go well for Gambit if loulex has some effective ganks on this Evelynn. The question is, do FNATIC want to initiate a lane swap to try to coordinate or control his movements?
Let's realistically look at these two teams. Gambit have to win the lane phase.
Yes,
I mean,
completely agree.
The team composition they've picked and the fact that they are basically a solo queue team at the moment, they all have a lot of experience in that, so they will all be very good in that solo lane.
Yes, I completely agree. And they will most likely have actually come up against FNATIC's members in solo queue. A lot of these guys are up in challenge.
I managed to speak to xPeke and Cyanide earlier, and they said, yeah, we actually know all of these members. We have come up against them, so we're pretty sure what we're going to get.
Well, we'll have to see if they can anticipate and pick up the win in game.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Final game of the day here in Wembley. Of course, we have another bunch of games for you tomorrow, but right now it is Gambit as the blue team up against FNATIC as the red team. We're going to see how this one works out between them.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, and you can immediately see sOAZ has started himself off with a Scrying Orb. So because he's gone for the blue trinket, you can anticipate a FNATIC invade, and then most likely seeing sOAZ backing and selling that for a different ward trinket later on. May also be taking a page out of Trashy's book, who did that invade with Jarvan the 4th earlier today. So may end up being a red buff trade, as Gambit has also gone for the 5-man invade. They're looking to get deep wards to anticipate or predict a possible lane swap.
Yeah, identical play from both these two teams. Reverse side, Hiiva putting the wards down the side. The crowd chanting that they want wards, and they're going to get wards is exactly what will happen for them. And deep wards, as you mentioned, for both these teams over and around both red buffs. Ooh, this is dangerous territory though. YellOwStaR and Rekkles, and xPeke, sorry.
They've got vision of them.
Yeah, they're going to see them. They've got vision of them all passing by. The rest of FNATIC group around there. Are they going to go for it? If
FNATIC do go for a Dark Binding or a Cocoon, FNATIC are going to be aware of this. This is going to be so scary, and I don't know if either team are going to commit. Grasping Roots is more powerful in this situation because Gambit can lock up multiple members of FNATIC, and I think the wise move is to back away. FNATIC don't have vision. The Scrying Orb is available, so if sOAZ wants to get vision, he can use it, and we'll see if it plays out. They're going to catch him!
They're going north, they're calling on to Nick, they're going to pile on towards him, he's in trouble! Is he going to be able to get away? Flash is there! They could have gone the other way. Nick is safe, and that was only one flash used though.
That is incredible play. Flash and Summoner Heal blown from Nick, and sOAZ skilled his Dark Flight, so he bounced over the wall to get the knock-up. The thing is, Cyanide needs to punish this. There's a window of opportunity. Nick is already going to be weak in lane to Ziggs, thanks to the matchup as Nidalee. And if Cyanide can come around and get a good repel gank going, that could be a very strong opening for First Blood for FNATIC.
So, everybody sets themselves up in lanes, and it will be 2v1s, it seems, or will it be? Let's see whether the buddy system, which is working out right now, sOAZ and Cyanide in the jungle of Gambit. Gambit, of course, have done the exact same up in the top half of the jungle, but they are now separating. So, 2 AD carries, separate lanes, Rekkles and YellOwStaR down that bottom lane, and meanwhile, Fury and Hiiva up in that top lane. So, impressive, the fact that they are, of course, a solo queue team, effectively. They are doing identical tactics to the team that is probably the most experienced in Europe right now.
Yeah, it is something that when you're at this level of play, you can watch and you can understand, and you can talk about the mechanics of how you're going to open, work those first few minutes. Other than the fact Nick had been jumped on, there's no other pressure from FNATIC on Gambit. So, no strategic decision-making yet between the teams. And I really want to see how loulex is going to impact these lanes, considering FNATIC have gone for standard and it's Gambit that have opted for the lane swap, meaning they may have telegraphed potential dives. It does look like there's pressure in mid onto xPeke, and here's some support.
Oh, 3.5-minute Dragon coming up. It looks like you can see FNATIC all moving for it. xPeke should be able to hold out this wave in this mid lane. There's going to be 4 members of Gambit in that mid lane area at the moment now. But as you can see, the Dragon is going down slowly but surely to FNATIC. Taking a little bit, they're kind of kiting this one badly at the moment.
Yeah, that's a level 2 Dragon. They're trying to juggle the aggro, doing a decent job there actually. The last few auto attacks have been mostly dealt with. It does look like it's going to get secured.
That was a little anticlimactic, that one, that's for sure.
Took a little longer than FNATIC were hoping for, but when you consider that sOAZ still has the same amount of CS as Cabochard, he's the same level, and the global gold is going to be spread across the rest of his team, that is quite a smart move. It also allows FNATIC control of the pit when it does respawn, so they can position correctly and they can pull the resources they want. We've gone back to 4v0. Neither team is looking to defend their external turrets.
Well, YellOwStaR and Rekkles are putting damage down on this bottom area. It is pretty even between the two AD carries when we finally see them meet up. Really, the mid lane is the one we want to focus on, though. We can see actually the jungle pairing, Cyanide and sOAZ, close by. Remember, Alliance, of course, did this against Jesus. They managed to catch him out. Nick did burn that flash early on, so he hasn't got it available to try and get out of this one. We'll see. That minion wave will delay this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely will. YellOwStar's going to join that. I mean, this is going to be a 4v1 in the mid lane.
They could flash Dark Bind him, flash Cocoon, anything they want on him right now. He's got no escape on this one. He's just going to have to run north. Cocoon does land. He gets bounced in the air. He's in all sorts of trouble. It's a simple first blood for FNATIC.
That is a very, very strong play. Flash Cocoon from Cyanide at near max rank manages to connect. FNATIC are doing something quite unusual for them as a team. We don't see them roaming around as 4 members at the 5-minute mark. So very intelligent play. They're probably getting underneath Gambit's skin, and very importantly, they're accelerating the rate of the laning phase. By FNATIC forcing Gambit's hand, they are ensuring that the team-based decision-making of their team is 1 step ahead of Gambit's potential team play, because of course they are a group of mixed players coming together for this weekend.
So some solo damage in that top lane. Fury has managed to put himself up there, but sOAZ teleports quickly up there and defends it off. We are still seeing the top laners going against the AD carries at the moment. YellOwStaR very deep on his own there, but he had the confidence because they had the vision to be safe around that area. Cabochard in this bottom lane is about to get the help of Fury and Hiiva. Is he going to back off, or are they going to try and make a play before he goes?
Yeah, I'm not sure. With the Black Shield and the fact that Corki should have Valkyrie, it should be safe for them to get away. The one thing I do want to highlight, though, is with First Blood on sOAZ, the Dragon Gold as well, he's gone back to lane at 5.5, 6 minutes with the Giant's Belt. This puts Cabochard in such a difficult situation if or when he eventually goes for the 1v1. But for the time being, it's Fury that's left up there to farm against sOAZ. And I think the Giant's Belt will definitely allow him to remain in lane and be more relevant. You can see by having twice the amount of CS already.
So the mid lane is really the big difference between the two. xPeke, 20 CS advantage over Nick. That's a problem. Nick, of course, the only standing member of Gambit's official lineup, and there's a lot of pressure on him, I feel, to perform in this one. Of course, against xPeke and a champion that he knows very, very well in the form of Ziggs. No surprises, honestly. You know, Nidalee's going to take a little while to get farm going this early on. Yeah,
Nidalee is a champion with a mid-game power spike. So your laning phase is not necessarily the greatest, but once you get a few items, you can land some very, very strong javelin tosses. The problem is, Gambit are already 2,000 gold down at 7 minutes. And FNATIC are ahead in top lane CS, ahead in every lane CS barring jungle.
It's all right, guys. You can blame Unso, the cameraman, for not showing that while more going down there. Red buff will go across to loulex, and at the moment, Gambit are keeping up just around about. FNATIC are, of course, in the lead in gold. loulex going to try and sneak around. He's on towards xPeke. Can he get in there? Satchel charge instantly down, and he's free.
There's no CC there, so even if loulex had wanted to make something happen, xPeke still had flash. You've seen him use the satchel charge. That was always an optimistic gank, but it could more likely be putting pressure on xPeke to allow safe blue buff, and also just to back up Nick. Nick has been playing catch-up since he got jumped on at level 1, and is struggling, so that power spike of Nidalee is going to be delayed.
Rekkles is going to return this time to the bottom lane again. Ooh. There is a strong position. Blue buff miscalculated there. I think the poison tick must have done it. The Cyanide there. I don't think it was a basic attack. but
small misplay. Considering Pekka's already got a fairly sizable lead, that's not the end of the world, but what it does mean is it's going to be a little more difficult for Pekka to accelerate this lead. He can't punish Nick quite as hard as having that blue buff available. And YellOwStaR and Rekkles doing a good job of shoving that bottom wave down. That tower's very low HP, but don't forget that sOAZ in the top lane is also defending FNATIC's tower, which is also at low HP.
Well, Pekka uses the Mega Inferno Arm, clears the wave, goes back to buy. That could be the Athene's and I'm not sure if he's got quite enough gold to complete that one. I don't believe so. No, he's going to go Sorcerer's Boots instead. Rekkles and YellOwStaR down this bottom lane. Rekkles squeaking out a lead. Cyanide sneaking in towards the bushes. We'll see if he goes for a gank.
Because Dragon's up in 45,
yeah.
Cyanide's looking for a gank on the bottom lane. Get a kill, get pressure, or get the tower. And as soon as Gambit on the retreat, it's going to open the objective. loulex, I think, has read the situation well. He's going to be in place to counter gank, and he does have Agony's Embrace available. Oh, YellOwStaR.
Yeah,
very early Black Shield. There's a window. If Gambit wants to go in, they could.
Hiiva spotted it, put the seed straight down on top of the two of them, pinged it instantly out there. Just why Black Shield. He expected that grasping roots to land towards him. Didn't go for it, and instead they back away. loulex also cancelling, you can see, not spotted out by the ward. Not sure why.
Just not enough range on that one, I believe. So, numbers advantage to FNATIC. They're going to be moving to the Dragon Pit.
Wombo combo.
Indeed, Dragon's up. They knew loulex recalled, he, moved in through the lane, didn't make anything happen, and FNATIC...
Oh, the Collins not quite there, though. That's actually Peke that secured it. The smite wasn't used by Cyanide on that Dragon.
Yeah, panicked a little bit, maybe. But sOAZ made it down, walked all the way from the top lane, burned his teleport to hold off the tower, and FNATIC just growing the lead. Very focused play, concerted effort from FNATIC. Yeah, to shut Gambit down, to force Gambit's hand in this laning phase. And I think it's very smart to ruffle Gambit's feathers and make life a bit more difficult for them this early.
Yeah, there's a gap opening up between the two top laners, despite the fact they've not faced each other yet. They are about to in the river, actually. Cabochard and sOAZ just crossing their paths, and sOAZ is actually heading south.
There's a 2-level difference between Cabochard and sOAZ because Cabochard has been sharing experience with Hiiva. Now, we did just hit level 7, so sOAZ will have a minor advantage for this next point or two, but 20 CS difference. He's still got that Scrying Orb. You could argue the effectiveness of it, but he hasn't been under pressure either. There's been no gank attempts in the top lane, so he hasn't needed a yellow or a red trinket. And FNATIC are just doing very well. They've thought out this early game, and they put Gambit on the back foot.
The ward just timed out in that bush there, although they're instantly pinging it, saying probably someone... Oh, there we go, just past the ward, but in the red area, so spotted him out. So they are aware of Cyanide's position. That means, of course, it frees up either the bottom to try and make a play between themselves. Both on identical builds, actually. The AD carries down that bottom lane. 117 CS for Rekkles with that lead still. They are finally facing off against each other. Dark Binding lands. It goes on to Hiiva. And we are going to see Rekkles going back. sOAZ going aggressive on Cabochard. Can dive. He has got that Blood Well available.
Actually, that's interesting. Both of these top laners use their ultimates. And I would dare say Cabochard comes out a little further ahead. loulex has got Agony's Embrace. Does have Flash. They're going in.
Oh, we're going to see loulex come around. Doesn't fully commit. loulex has not been seen yet, so he's actually trying to bait sOAZ here. See if he can draw him closer. loulex, for some reason, does not want to go for this one.
So it is difficult to lock down that Aatrox with Dark Flight and with Flash. Even if loulex had jumped in there with that Agony's Embrace, those are two abilities that are not affected by the movement speed slow. He can still clear the distance. So I think loulex probably evaluating the likelihood of finding the kill is low and decides to bail out, decides not to commit to it. But I mean, just look at the item advantages. sOAZ with the Giant's Belt. Rekkles has got himself a Bloodthirster already at 12 minutes thanks to solid CSing and 2 Dragons under his belt. Dragons, of course, worth less at a lower level, but when you got 2 of them, it helps you get that item breakpoint significantly earlier.
Yeah, Cabochard, on the other hand, couldn't afford the phage when he went back there. Meanwhile, as you can see, got himself a Bilgewater Cutlass, so he is going to be much stronger, I believe, when they face each other a second time in just a moment. YellOwStaR Rekkles down this bottom lane, up against Fury again, trying to land those Dark Bindings, hasn't really been too successful, but if they do land, you feel free that they will pile in towards it. loulex just off the side there, and looks like xPeke is going to go for round 2 on the blue buff.
Yeah, so loulex is doing a decent job at farming the jungle. he's got a healthy... There we go, gets it this time. Healthy advantage over Cyanide, but you can definitely say that his gank attempts have not been anywhere near successful. Evelynn as a jungler definitely needs a few items before she hits a real power spike. And considering how important Evelynn will be in terms of these flank maneuvers and needing to pull threat away from Nick and from Fury, I think there's a lot of pressure on loulex this game, because if he is not a scary Evelynn, then FNATIC are just going to ignore him and run straight to the squishy carries of Gambit.
Well, I guess you get the leader of the Avengers if you combine the two.
We'll have to see if he can do that. For the time being, Fury's got back to lane, he's got his Bloodthirster picked up as well, so about to lose the first tower of the game. Smart play from FNATIC.
Yep, slow, steady, grinding out this victory at the moment. 4,000 gold already built up in 15 minutes. Not a bad lead for FNATIC here, and they may actually try and contest on this. Oh, Fury caught completely out. What was he doing face checking that? No clue whatsoever what he was doing there.
Yeah, that one really, really hurt. Just all too simple. And Xpeke is also going to look to get some damage. Look at that. Mega Inferno Bomb was still available, so if
and Ignite.
Nick had not healed himself, Xpeke may have gone all in. But remember, Dragon up in 1.5 minutes. Look at the incredible vision control from FNATIC in the red buff jungle of Gambit. They're going to set themselves up to not only steal away buffs, but also ensure they've got all of the information to work with when they go for the next Dragon.
Well, that's going to be the second tower of the game going down. FNATIC on this one again. Cabochard getting focused on. loulex is just waiting off the side though. sOAZ has got his blood well available. Should be able to pounce away from this one. There he gets caught out. Gets the pounce down. He's going to get close enough to his tower. He will get the blood well. Can he get away from this one? His tower is very low as well. sOAZ is going to get taken down. And loulex gets a revenge kill.
So patient play from loulex. He was waiting for the correct time to jump in. First kill on the board for Gambit. It will also ensure a tower. So good turnaround. First successful gank we've seen from loulex, but it does also mean he's on the top half of the map, and if he doesn't rush very quickly towards Dragon, FNATIC do have the opportunity to rush it down once again.
I feel it's been a long day when this happens.
I concur. I do indeed concur. So Dragon up 15 seconds, and look at FNATIC. Teleport's available for sOAZ. He's going to shove out that top lane, but it's very, very clear FNATIC want each and every Dragon that spawns. They've made such a good effort at controlling this area of the map, and the poke that Ziggs offers in conjunction with the range of the Dark Binding makes it very difficult for Gambit to engage this.
After the hit point shredded off Hiiva, loulex looking to try and get close to this one, but the Dragon, I feel, will get secured. It's Cyanide's taking a big bit of damage on the back there. That's going to be Hiiva caught out. Oh, the rocket, not quite enough. Comboed with the Mega Inferno Bomb. He does manage to escape this one. Can they turn it around? YellOwStaR blocks out that spear very nicely. Now Xpeke is going to get caught out. loulex pushing on towards him. He hasn't got the damage though. And again, no CC for Gambit. The only CC there is the grasping roots from Hiiva, and he was already taken out.
16 minutes on the clock, and FNATIC have secured 3 Dragons. And that is just such focused effort. They really, they weren't afraid of any steal potential. And thanks to all of the presence and the pressure they've applied, sOAZ is most likely going to get this top lane tower and get out cleanly as well. So FNATIC extend their gold. Oh, that's blocked.
Xpeke gets away with next to no health, but blocked out by YellOwStaR. I think that final spear came through on towards him. Rekkles is actually sneaking around the side. Going to find himself another pink ward. This is a pretty common position for that pink ward.
It does look to be one. Rekkles manages to obviously fire up the crowd once more. I think for FNATIC, the fact that they've got such a strong lead is going to open them up to sieges. Even though Corki's got very short range, the moment they move themselves into an inner turret, if Gambit commit to a fight, Black Shield the target that's been jumped on, allow Aatrox and Elise to try and lock them up, you know, with a cocoon or a knockup. And if those miss, just soul shackles with Morgana. It takes so much for Gambit to dive past and through FNATIC. They're going to need a perfect engage, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it at this stage.
Well, see FNATIC going to try and start sieging this one down. They're doing good zone control with those mines off the side. It stops loulex from coming around. He's going to try and flank in towards them, on towards that tower, but again, not able to get close enough. The minute they wind off, that's the second set of mines thrown straight in. While this is all happening, sOAZ and Cabochard are continuing their single duel, their single player game in this top lane.
And it's sOAZ that's coming out ahead. Sunfire Cape completed. Got the makings of that Blade of the Ruined King. He's got a very big CS lead. I mean, Trinity Force hasn't even been completed yet by Cabochard, so he's gone for a damage build, and if Cabochard tries to commit to a team fight, he will get just shredded down super quickly because of the damage sources from FNATIC.
Well, full invade now on for FNATIC. Blue buff's going to get taken away. xPeke will have that one happily. Rekkles took down half the hit points almost off that inner turret as well, while Gambit were haplessly defending in the mid lane. Big advantage in gold, starting to stack out now in favor of FNATIC, as you kind of expect in this game.
I think so too. You know, FNATIC, of course, been playing together for so long, and I dare say their decisiveness in this early game is the most impressive I've seen of them arguably all year long. Because even when they were winning in the beginning of the spring split, it was thanks to outplaying their opponents in laning phase, not by forcing objectives and forcing movements from their opponents. And this time around, FNATIC have just guided Gambit around the map, saying, we want to kill you here, we want to take this objective, and they haven't given Gambit a chance to react or create their own opportunities.
sOAZ returning back to the top there. Trinity Force completed by Cabochard, so see how he can compete with sOAZ, who is a level ahead, got that blood well back available, and again, loulex trying to make his way up here, but he's going to pass a pink ward, he's going to get spotted out, and sOAZ may actually turn aggression towards him, quickly dashes away, will get slowed down, sOAZ in trouble, it's just going to teleport away, they've got no CC! Bloodwell managing to get the damage down, he's in trouble, he's going down from this.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. What can FNATIC do elsewhere on the map? They're pressuring middle, they look to be moving bottom lane as well, Rekkles may come up, so a little bit of damage in mid turret, and then a good gank by loulex onto sOAZ.
Nick doing enough work to keep xPeke and YellOwStaR away from that middle turret. Rekkles rotating around alongside Cyanide. Cocoon lands onto Hiiva. They don't follow through with the damage. One singular rocket from Rekkles doing so much damage, shredding down that health. There is a big problem for Gambit right now.
No, just FNATIC's trinkets. There's 2 scrying orbs and 3 red trinkets. So they definitely want vision control by denying Gambit. And the way FNATIC have continually grouped up and moved through Gambit's jungle, those scrying orbs is going to ensure when they go for those 3, 4, 5-man invades, it is a safer move. It is a safer play. And it is something that they have done very effectively all game long.
Yeah, wards continue to fall.
Dragon respawns in a minute, so hopefully we can see Gambit attempt to steal another dragon. This time there's more ability power in Nick. So at the very least, the steal potential continues to grow as Gambit get more damage.
So blue buff goes back across towards xPeke. YellOwStaR, ooh, nearly catching Nick with the dark binding. You know the ward falls. I tell you, one of these days we're going to get a little counter in the corner to see how many of these do drop back and forward. It's something I request every time they ask me.
Well, we'll see. Oh, there's so many wards and shots. YellOwStar's in trouble.
Oh, that's a good cull-in from Fury. He could have followed through.
He defended the ward. That was the most effective culling. See, defended the ward. Well played. Strategic move. Unfortunately, for Gambit, it means the culling's not going to be available for the dragon attempt in a moment or two. I think our spectator is actually trolling the audience at this point in time. And it's just complete control from FNATIC. I mean, at any point, FNATIC decide... At any point, FNATIC decide to go for objectives. They've got such a strong lead and they've got such strong tools. It really is their prerogative as to how and when they begin pushing.
Well, FNATIC almost certainly in the stronger of the 2 positions here, pushing their way through. It is a 6,000 gold lead. Cabochard pushing hard and fast in that top lane. He wants to get some damage down on towards that top turret. I wonder whether xPeke is going to maybe throw that Mega Inferno bomb up there to clear out the wave. He's kind of half-heartedly between the 2 at the moment. It looks like he's going to go for an engage in this mid lane. And again, YellOwStaR taking a bunch of damage. Has to back off. That top turret's going down. Yeah,
the javelin tosses have been very good from Nick. They've really delayed FNATIC. He's decided not to back away. Look at the HP bar. Gambit want this fight.
Teleport coming in. Cabochard's going to join this one. Dragon goes across towards FNATIC, but can they pull the damage down? There's going to be a Stranglethorn. Bouncing sOAZ up. No blood well available. He goes down. xPeke is going to surely be the next focus target. loulex gets himself the double. And Gambit actually trying to back away from this one. They could turn and fight. What are they doing? It's a 5v3.
Now the damage from FNATIC is still up because xPeke and Rekkles were relatively untouched during the course of the fight. If they had stuck around, it could have been a difficult situation. There's no tanky stats on Cabochard. So a couple of auto attacks and a bomb, that could have cost him his life. When we talked about the peel power that Zyra operates, yes, it was great in the pit. It gave Gambit the opportunity to get 2 kills, but it was not enough to continue the fight. Had there been plays or death sentences that could have backed that play up, maybe Gambit would have been willing to re-engage or recommit. And as it stands, Rekkles, he's looking for Hiiva.
Could have Valkyried after that one, but no, really got the vision around there, so plays it safe. Will get spotted out. Let's check this fight again.
So yeah, the main thing that I just want to highlight is the decision-making of having Evelynn a flank jungler in conjunction with Zyra, which is a very disengaged style champion. The Strangleforce was great. It really prevented the rest of FNATIC getting in and dealing damage to Gambit's members. But because there's nothing else to prevent the damage, I mean, Fury has to back away. Cabochard's thinking about going in, and you can see the miscommunication and the undecided nature of Gambit members. They were in, out, and eventually got away. They got 2 kills, which is good at this stage. They need to claw back as much gold as they can.
You're going to have to do that for a lot longer, that's for sure. FNATIC regrouping, getting themselves back into this matchup. Another ward goes down.
Remember that Nick's spears are always going to scale. I mean, we've seen Nidalee's turn games around. Think back to last week where it was Cloud9 versus CLG. High hit spear after spear after spear, and it was late game 2 or 3 spears that just won them the game. I mean, CLG had some great dramatic moves, but it really was all about their Nidalee.
Yeah, they keep going down, don't they? Those wards. Well, FNATIC making their way. They've got a big minion wave. Nobody had noticed that either, I don't think. They are going to make themselves in towards its inner turret. Gambit way too slow to react to this one. Yeah,
nowhere near. Going to be an easily secured turret. FNATIC, the vision that they had afforded themselves allowed them to make the play. And this is what we talked about. Because of the lead that FNATIC has, it really is just a matter of time before FNATIC pick a lane and try to focus it down. With the very strong front line of Aatrox and Elise, and then the protection that Morgana will offer Ziggs and Corki with her soul shackles, I think FNATIC have enough time with those abilities. Oh, they're going to try and look for someone on Gambit. Look at Cyanide.
Cyanide caught out briefly there, but look at that. Fury now caught out. Dark binding shackles. Does get away with the flash there. Rekkles not quite putting the damage down on the right-hand side. FNATIC still getting taken low from this.
Yeah, very, very smart play from Rekkles not to Valkyrie into the whole Gambit team. Had he done that, a Stranglethorns most certainly would have been thrown down. So FNATIC, somewhat split. They were playing the bait game with Cyanide, while YellOwStaR managed to land a pick on Fury. So not exactly in the right area at the right time. And I think a little unlucky by FNATIC to not secure themselves that kill.
Well, that's a clear ward going down again for Gambit. That is literally where they're getting their gold right now.
Well, why not? I mean, there's enough wards being thrown around the map. You got to highlight Cabochard's build. He is working towards himself, that Zephyr. And Gambit have actually mirrored the trinkets that FNATIC are running. And which you wouldn't know because there's still so many wards going down.
We should point out that Cabochard actually dueled Darien for this position.
That's right. Yes, Gambit did explain the sourcing process of the substitutes. It does seem to be working out. 0-0-4. Cabochard's doing well, but he's going for that split push build. He's going for the dueling 1v1 build, and he's got no tanky stats still. So I do feel that if Gambit pick fights, like bigger groups, 4v4s, 5v5s, Cabochard may just get instantly bursted out.
At the moment, FNATIC, again, trying to create a position, but they definitely seem to have hit a brick wall here. They've not made really any plays in towards Gambit's territory for a very long time. They're not able to keep the top or the bottom wave cleared because every time that top's pushed in, Cabochard clears it back out. Fury keeps going back down that bottom. FNATIC just trying to force themselves, trying to get a kill in there. Nick's got to be careful, but they're going to focus on towards xPeke. They're diving in towards him. xPeke quickly satchel charges away. The rest of FNATIC are in the river just below.
Very effective.
Good job, but Gambit didn't follow there.
Very effective rubber ducking from xPeke, gets him out safely. But this is actually something we see a lot from LCS teams in Europe, is the inner line of turrets is the most difficult to break through because we don't necessarily, as a region, have the strongest division control. So good binding, but again, the rest of FNATIC are a little bit split up. They're trying to push middle, they're trying to push bottom. So in order for FNATIC to actually siege, they need to ensure they don't get hit by Nidalee spears, and they need to ensure that they don't get caught up by Stranglethorns. So I think playing it safe, it's not necessarily a bad idea, especially when you consider late game should always be favourite for FNATIC.
Cabochard caught out this time around. Mega Inferno Bomb, not enough to take him down. The rest of the team taking some serious damage. sOAZ just around the side, clearing out another ward. That will be the middle turret. I feel going to go down in a moment if they choose to actually tank it down.
Oh!
Nick Spear finds xPeke.
Manages to connect. Gambit 5 kills to 2. They are well ahead of FNATIC when it comes to securing kills, but they are 5 towers to 1 down. Now sOAZ is the next target.
Oh, Dart Binding not going to land on loulex. He's going to try and collapse on towards him, takes a chunk of damage, so now he can't chase. Pink ward may be in jeopardy, and the dragon actually is spawning in a couple of seconds. Oh, Hiiva caught out. Rekkles could go aggressive on this one. Does try and catch on towards him instead, having to use that black shield to protect him. Gambit teleporting in. There are 5 members going for dragon.
Oh, that's great play from Cabochard. He sidestepped the Blades of Torment there from sOAZ. Now with Dragon under their control, they should secure this, and they can turn for a fight. Great counterplay from Gambit.
First Dragon, remember, xPeke is not with him. YellOwStaR's going to get focused on loulex, goes deep on this one. He's going to get caught out. He goes down. It's sOAZ with the kill. Willie's going to get towards sOAZ. The passive is gone down. He's going to get caught out. Cyanide taken out by Nick. sOAZ goes down as well. It's Hiiva that picks that one up. And that was a 2-for-1 and the dragon for Gambit.
Gambit are not out of this game because they do have the ability to find picks. I talked about how YellOwStaR on Morgana can provide peel and protection, but he put the soul shackles down far too early. Take a look at the engage here. loulex goes very deep, and for a moment you think he may have bitten off more than he can chew. But that Agony's Embrace shield did give him a fair amount of HP to work with, and this is where I feel YellOwStaR made a mistake. When loulex was up there, he popped the soul shackles, so now when Gambit are running forward, that threat of the stun from soul shackles is not there. And that has allowed Gambit to run through, grab the second tower of the game, and that big gold lead from earlier becomes smaller as the game progresses.
So just 7,000 still, actually technically 6,000 between the two teams. Gambit with their second turret of the game in that mid lane. That's going to expose FNATIC a little bit, take some of their vision away, that's for sure. And actually, if you look at the map, a lot of vision for Gambit rather than FNATIC, which is something that hasn't been happening, which is why, if you look at the inventories of all FNATIC, they have stuck themselves out a chunk of wards.
Yeah, a real huge amount. It's actually what FNATIC have been doing the whole game. They've really had a lot of vision, especially in Gambit's red buff area. They've really put such a focused effort in that dragon control, and up until the dragon a few minutes ago, they had been playing very well. But that brick wall that FNATIC seemed to hit about 10 minutes ago is now becoming a little scarier, is now becoming a bit bigger, because there's a death cap on Nick. He's working his way towards a Void Staff. We've already seen how much damage his spears were dealing before he had that death cap completed.
Well, I thought sOAZ may get caught out there. Cyanide clears out some more vision. The rest of Gambit are moving in and sweeping out the river in style.
Only in style because FNC Arena is behind them.
Dark Binding doesn't land. A lot of star points for those. Oh, hello, FNATIC going for this one. Hiiva's caught out. He's in no trouble. He's not going to get away from this one. Stranglethorns will go down, but really zero effect off that one. sOAZ, simple kill. Fury now caught out. Oh. He's going to get locked up. He has to get out of there. FNATIC, though, they're taking a bit of damage back towards them. Nick with those spears still doing work.
Yeah, very important spears onto YellOwStaR on the back line, and then of course Cyanide, being forced to repel away from that Stranglethorns. There is good damage onto Nick with Rekkles getting closer to his Infinity Edge. You've seen how much burst just the auto attack and the rockets are dealing. Unfortunately for FNATIC, they're not dodging enough spears to have the poke advantage at this stage in the game.
I wonder right now for FNATIC just how much of that decision making, they're questioning themselves after that last FNATIC Alliance game, of course, where we saw earlier on their decisions. Should we stick? Should we stay? And at the moment, they seem to be questioning themselves when these fights come around. A lot of pings around that Baron area. Clearly, a lot of discussions going on about how they should clear out the vision. Gambit have full vision control over this area right now. They've got single ward in that back of the Baron, one ping ward just off in towards the top of the river. And FNATIC are very concerned about this Baron right now.
So the vision is even more important for Gambit, especially when looking around big objectives, because they need to ensure they're not being flanked with Nidalee. They need to throw the spears down. In addition, if they have proper warding around objectives, it buys time for loulex and Cabochard to either go very aggressive or find the right angle in. So for me, FNATIC's vision is great, but they can get away with slightly less wards because of the slightly more synergetic champion choices they've gone with. Whereas for Gambit, as we said, they need to make sure they have the right decisions. And those spears from Nick have been doing great work in this game.
Yeah, they keep keep on finding their targets. Only really takes 1 or 2, and as the game continues to progress, that spear will get stronger and stronger. Gambit keeping the waves cleared once again. No pressure on any of the waves actually from FNATIC, despite the fact that they've got a Ziggs. You know, Mega Inferno Bomb is available, may well have to be used here. Gambit are going to keep on pushing for this tower. I don't think they're going to get in towards it to get too much damage down. And Fury will get possibly a couple of double taps on towards it, which he will. But that is a lot more than you would expect if you saw the first 20 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I actually think it's very difficult for Gambit to siege against FNATIC because of just how incredible FNATIC's wave clear is. They've got AoE damage from every single one of their champions, and most of it is fairly long range. So they can actually clear waves very effectively. Gambit, on the other hand, they are going to be relying on Irelia's ultimate and on Lucian and arguably Zyra for most of their wave clear. So FNATIC, I think, they could have attempted to punish their lead earlier, punish their lead over Gambit earlier, but as it stands, we're evening out the game. That 6,000 gold is significantly less worrying now that we're 20 minutes later.
Continue to see Gambit stalling out. FNATIC just haven't broke through at all. They took that one inner turret down that bottom lane and the middle lane, so they have got close to the base. Oh dear, Cabochard caught out. This time around, I don't think he's going to go away. Flash comes out, Rekkles is in there. Straight away knew he was in trouble. Valkyrie used from Rekkles. That is maybe the can opener that FNATIC needed to try and push through Gambit.
Yeah, I think it might be. The burst damage from Rekkles is very, very good. And you see how quickly they just melted through his HP. That in conjunction with Elise's upfront burst definitely works in their favor. They want loulex.
And they're going to find loulex. The cocoon lands, but the follow-up is not there. He will step away, but with that top laner down, he will be up in 25 seconds, but I'm not sure if the Baron will be there. This couple of spears could delay this.
It's all on Nick. Nick needs to land perfect spears in order to prevent. Look for Strangle Thorns in the pit. It's going to be much more effective. It looks like Gambit, they want to go in shortly.
The Baron down to what, 3,000 hit points. Strangle Thorns is going to go down. Who's he going to catch on towards? YellOwStaR in there. Baron picked up by FNATIC. They're going to turn on towards loulex. loulex goes down. Rekkles picks that one up. Hiiva's going to be focused on towards now. sOAZ catches on towards him. He desperately runs away from this one. He's going to drop down. It's Rekkles with a second. Nick now just off of the side with Fury. They're going to try and steal away the blue buff here. Spears continuing to go from Nick. They're sticking around here. Cabochard is up. I wonder if they're going to try and pick someone off on the exit.
2 for 0 and the Baron to FNATIC. Smart play. Fury was all the way down at the bottom of the lane as that started. What it does mean is FNATIC are late to recall. Oh, that's a good spear. So we'll see how effectively Rekkles can defend this wave. He does have a big one rocket lined up. It's only going to kill one of those melee minions.
It's a good counter. They get themselves that inner turret. They're quickly rushing straight down towards that bottom lane. They may even try and tank this one out. Oh, we saw that, Nick. Dragon is up. They could go straight towards it. Blue buff is not available. They're going to go for Dragon instead. And that's actually some pretty good gold that Gambit have picked up despite the fact they lost Baron.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, Dragon is almost equal on gold with Baron. But look at the average. I'll actually dare say it is equal on gold with Baron. So while they don't have the buff, they do at least pick up a nice amount of gold to spend, continue working towards their items. Cabochard has got that Giant's belt in his back pocket, is slowly working himself towards more tanky items. And loulex himself, Randian's completed. He's had that for a little while. He's got the Aegis as well. So there is defensive statistics being built up for Gambit, which will make their team fight power significantly more effective.
Mega Inferno Bomb thrown down the bottom here to clear out that wave. Cabochard is still sticking around in that bush. I can feel he's going to push on towards that outer turret, and that's going to give them an advantage down there. So they're keeping FNATIC on their toes. Oh, nearly got that one, the spear. Instead, the white goes across towards Cyanide. Cabochard backs away, so he chooses not to stick around. Instead, they want to defend out this inner turret in the top.
So Banshee's Veil popped by Cyanide, and you see a Banshee's also secured on xPeke, and I believe, sorry, not xPeke, on sOAZ, and I believe the makings of the Banshees for xPeke. We'll see how quickly they can get those up. It's going to be so important for FNATIC to mitigate the strength of those spears. With YellOwStaR, again, just keep getting hits. He's eaten so many of those javelin tosses. And good defensive play by Gambit to hold on this tower, but how long can it last? Remember, Baron is on FNATIC.
You know, we talked about the short range that Corki does have, and obviously against Lucian, he is very strong. He's what a lot of players see as one of the counters. He manages to trade very well with him, but in this situation, he can't get close enough to the tower. He's not doing the damage from range, and everybody from FNATIC is eating those spears right now, not just YellOwStaR.
Yeah, especially in the 5v5 scenario, when you do also have to take into account Zyra's ultimate. If FNATIC commit, they've got melee champions, you know, with Aatrox and Elise when she's in spider form, and it's difficult. You see, they're finally going to get in range. We'll see. Oh, they've got Hiiva.
They've caught Hiiva. They're going to make her infinite bomb. Comes in and Hiiva disappears. And loulex and Cabochard have to back away from that one. FNATIC push on through. Final inner turret goes down.
All they needed was time. They managed to get the long-range cocoon, the long-range binding. That is what opened up the tower. And with the numbers advantage, they're not afraid.
Yeah, you can see that actually with that Stranglethorns down, that was what they were fearing. That's going to be loulex getting caught out completely. Inhibitor will go down. This is the big can opener the FNATIC were looking forward to. And finally, they bust open the Gambit base.
Yeah, Super Minions should be all she wrote as far as Gambit is concerned. FNATIC took them a long time, but they finally sieged up. They finally landed the long-range ability that they needed to, and that was sort of what I was getting at in Picks and Bans in terms of the synergy of their comp. They have tools to find picks. You lock somebody down and you poke them out with the satchel charge. Put a minefield down. That allows you to line up a cocoon and a dark binding, and the rest of the champions can burst him out or burst Gambit down. Ends up working in FNATIC's favor. They got the kill lead, massive tower lead, massive gold lead, and it should just be by the numbers now for the rest of the objectives.
Yeah, they should just be able to close the game out. Baron buff is worn off, I believe, it's from FNATIC, so that will not be available. But with that base open, Super Minions, of course, will be pouring in that top lane. So somebody again from Gambit now has to openly deal with that one. Probably going to be Cabochard, maybe Fury. Nevertheless, it gives FNATIC full control of this lower half of the jungle, which actually Gambit are in right now. And they're looking to maybe focus on sOAZ. This is a dangerous move from Gambit.
Yeah, for FNATIC, their vision game is now lacking. They need to make sure they amplify the ward placements. It becomes more difficult when you see how many champions are now hitting this like 6 item stage, hence the slightly reduced amount of wards. Also want to highlight the fact that Liandry's Torment was picked up by Hiiva, so he's also gone for some damage in his side of the map, on his side of the game rather. And we'll see if they can actually help out. The theory is good, but he needs to make sure he grabs a couple people with those blocks.
Ooh, he nearly caught out with the cocoon, quickly dashes out the way of that one. We do see Cabochard, he's in the top, he's having to deal with the Super Minions. We see sOAZ in that mid lane, pushing in towards the inhibitor. He's actually coming around the back of these, and he's just above Nick right now in the base. Yeah, so no Baron buff on the side of FNATIC. sOAZ has got a lot of attack speed and damage, so he's trying to put pressure on that inner turret, and teleports are up for both of the top laners. So we need to see who can have the most positive impact. sOAZ forced to back away once Cabochard returns, but look at the Super Minions, they're getting closer and closer to the base, and Cabochard now has to deal with 2 of them. Cabochard all on towards them. Hiiva taking a lot of damage. He's got to go back to the fountain. The culling use this time around, keeping them everything away. Nick has to land some of those spears, but right now he's having to use Cougar form. Getting low on mana. No blue buff for him either. This siege is not working out well for Gambit.
This game becomes a matter of who can land skill shots better. sOAZ is doing very well. He's going to grab this tower uncontested.
Didn't use his
finally,
ultimate.
they're easily secured.
Uses his ultimate to speed that one up. The rest of FNATIC are down there then. Rubber Ducky thrown out. Fury caught out with the Dark Binding. Super Minions on the Nexus turret as well. FNATIC pushing on through. They're going to take the final inhibitor turret down. loulex is going all in on this one. Doesn't quite catch out what he wanted to. Mega Inferno Bomb throwing in towards there. Cabochard teleports around the back. Desperately trying to get towards Rekkles. Hasn't done the damage. The lifesteal's there. sOAZ gets himself a double. Piles on towards the base. The Super Minions are doing everything they needed to for FNATIC. They're going to go towards the Nexus turret. Finish off the game. It will be FNATIC. They'll take down Gambit. It was a solid performance nonetheless by the solo queue performers of Gambit, but FNATIC, they continue to climb the table.
Hard-fought victory